Welcome back to the Good Dude, Good Dad podcast. I'm Jordan.
And I am Ben.
And we're going to talk about what today, Ben?
What? Before I tell you what, just so y'all know, we're testing out a new space. And so it's a little echoey. At least we think it is. If it's not, we'll find out after we edit this. But
bear with us on this one.
Yeah, we're excited. Testing out a new space.
I mean, we got road gear, so we know the quality is going to be amazing. But it's just what level of amazing, you know?
And we're using all new. We're new mics, new mic stands, new room.
Yeah.
The only thing that's not new, basically, is us.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
That is weird.
But today we just wanted to talk about doing hard things, but one thing in particular. And Jordan and I just did a 72-hour water fast. And so we wanted to talk about that in the component of what that means to us in doing something hard. And I think it's very easy for people to say, oh, yeah, let's do hard things, right? Or challenge yourself. But I think doing and saying, obviously, I know doing and saying are drastically different.
Oh, yeah.
And I think what's super cool is this was your first water fast. Like this extended, right?
This extended. Yeah, I've done like a 24-hour fast before, just like, on purpose.
Yeah.
For certain things, but I've never gone beyond 24 hours. So that was something new for me. And I jumped, in all fairness, too. So what happened was Ben was going on a 72-hour fast, came in and like saw me. He was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "You should start doing a 72-hour fast right now." And I was like, "Okay." So I literally hadn't eaten since like 8 that morning, but I was like, "Yeah, we'll push it out," and it was good. It was fun.
So the people do fasting for a bunch of different reasons, and I'm not even going to talk about fasting in a scientific or research or doctor way because I'm not any of those things. Yeah. I just wanted to speak to, like I said, the hard component of doing something so difficult, but also what it did for me on multiple levels. Mm-hmm. And so we're just going to jump in.
Yeah, kick it off, baby.
So basically this is I don't know. I've done these a few times. And I'm trying to do them quarterly to do something different with my body. Because there's a lot of science, a lot of research, a lot of everything, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, this was my first real fast that I was choosing to do in a spiritual way.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, for those that don't have a religion or have faith, is fasting for us as Christians is a practice that used to be common. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's continuously getting to be less and less and less.
100%.
I mean, there's different fasting like diets or fasting fads, or the beginning of every single year, almost every single church does a 21-day fast of some sort,
right,
which I've participated in.
Right.
But I've never done like a pure, hey, I'm going to fast all of this stuff for the purpose of asking God for a specific thing in my life. Also, just seeking Him, growing in Him, and challenging myself. You know, mm-hmm. Fasting for like fat loss is one thing, right? You have your goal is to look good.
Right.
Fasting for health, your goal is for a health component. Mm-hmm. But fasting to die of self, just to gain a little bit of a closer relationship with God, I think is drastically different. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, I was also seeking some health benefits through this also. And I think what was really challenging is you and I are in coffee shops and restaurants all the time. Mm-hmm. And obviously we're dads, so we have to feed our kids also. Mm-hmm. So there's so many different layers that went into this for me personally. Is, you know, the day of the fast, I'm at one of our coffee shops and the bakers are doing new things, or we're testing breakfast burritos. We're testing different coffee beverages that have all these different things that I could not participate in.
Right.
And so you're around like that quote unquote temptation, and it adds another layer of something that's just so difficult.
Yeah.
And again, for the first time in my life, during those difficult times, I would literally stop what I was doing and just be like, Jesus, give me strength. Like literally, you know, like, yeah, I'm hungry, my stomach's grumbling, but like, Jesus, give me some strength.
Yeah.
And there was so many cool things that I experienced. One, the healing component that I was seeking and asking for was very evident on day 3.
The physical?
The physical.
Okay.
I remember texting you or seeing you later that
Yeah,
day.
you texted me that way.
And I was like, dude, this is the first time in almost 3 months that I woke up without instant pain.
Yeah.
Like I was able to get out of bed and Devin was like, whoa, like you're moving better. I was like, that's like a God thing, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to get like into science of fasting, there's a thing called autophagy where essentially, again, I'm going to butcher it. So if you're like a medical person out there, like don't try to like come for me because I'll come for you.
Don't flex on us.
I'm just kidding. But basically your cells start to take over the bad cells and like essentially regenerate, reboot. You're rebooting and it's giving your body the chance to heal itself in ways that you cannot do when it's constantly having to work to break down food.
Yeah.
And the way I view it is if even half of what they say happens during fasting is true, then it's worth it, right? You're
100%.
miserable for a couple days, but with the potential of so many endless benefits, it's so worth it. But yeah, on that 3rd day, it was the first time I woke up without pain in my back.
That's awesome.
And it was insane. It tripped me out because I have a routine and it's so sad. I've been dealing with a couple herniated discs and a bunch of other things, but one of my routines is when I wake up in the morning, I do a long stretch throughout my whole body before I stand up. And I usually get tightness. And then when I get up, I have to like swing my legs over and push myself up with my right arm. That's like how I get up every single day. And that 3rd morning, I literally woke up, I did the stretch and I didn't feel anything. I was like, whoa, that's weird.
That's awesome.
Maybe I'm just tired, you
That's
know, and I didn't feel it. And then I went to swing my legs over and to push myself up like I normally do. And right when I stood up, I was like, holy crap, I have no pain in my back right now. Went to the bathroom, got the dog, went downstairs, made our coffee, started making breakfast for the kids, doing the whole morning thing, right? And I had no pain.
That's so cool.
And it was literally the craziest thing. And one of the things I was specifically asking for throughout this fast was for just healing in my body. Dealing with like chronic pain can get so mentally frustrating. And I could see that it was starting to come out in the way I was like treating like my family unintentionally.
Ooh.
And I was more snappy.
Yeah.
And there was no reason. There was no anything, but I caught
Yeah.
myself being more snappy. And I had apologized to my wife and kids one night because I was like, dude, I've just been in this state of chronic pain that any extra thing was like triggering me. And it got to a point where I was like, all right, dude, I can't do this. So I've been doing a bunch of other things, but doing hard things. Fasting is just the one vessel that we're talking about right now. And that was kind of like a brief rundown for me. I mean, there's a lot of like mental stages that you go through in fasting, but I want you to give your like highlight.
Yeah. I mean, I'd been thinking about doing a 72-hour fast, and I kept putting it off, mostly because of my work schedule and just like having to be at the restaurant. And I knew there were some very specific goals that we were trying to hit with the restaurant, or I was trying to hit mentally with the restaurant and get things to a certain place. So I kept pushing it off. And then when you walked in and you were like, hey, we're doing a fast, you should just do it. It was like one of those things where I was just like, in that moment, I was like, I need to stop making excuses and I just need to get it done. And it was like, nothing's ever going to be, and that's the thing, like nothing's ever going to be perfect. You're never going to have, like, for the majority of life and the majority of things in life, rarely is there a perfect time for anything.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I might disagree with that, but I rarely feel like there's a time where you feel 100% prepared for something difficult. And it kind of was like, it was a good moment for me where I just felt like, hey, you're doing it. Like, let's just go. Like, you just need a full send and you need to commit and just do it. And throughout the entire time, you were being gracious to me. You're like, dude, you weren't prepared for this. You weren't ready for this. You haven't done a 72-hour fast. I hadn't fasted in a long time. You're like, maybe you should just do a shorter fast. And I just mentally, I was like, nah, I need to do this now. Like, I knew if I didn't do it then, it wasn't going to get done. And that's maybe a character flaw in me or something that's just makes me built different. When there's something I have to get done in my mind, it's just going to get done.
Yeah.
Like, I just have to. So for me, it was interesting because I didn't necessarily do it for a spiritual component. I actually more wanted to do it for the physical component. I had just broken my ankle and like had all these tears, and the swelling in my ankle was pretty bad. And I was like, you know what, if this could help bring down that swelling a little bit and try to heal me faster so I can get back up on my feet and moving and playing with my kids and doing all the things that I want to, then it's worth it. Or, I had my stroke, my mom had a stroke not too long. This over like the last year and a half, my mom has had a stroke and my dad almost had a heart attack. And I was like, our family has always been very healthy, and I never thought we had any chronic family issues. And so maybe some fear has crept in, and I was like, if they even say half, like you were saying, even if half the benefits are true of what they're saying, I was like, this could be very helpful for me in my long run. So it ended up becoming more of a spiritual thing just because not being prepared and going into this and just having to hop in and not having, like, I didn't have any, I do 90% of the cooking at home, you know that. And so I had nothing prepared at our house. Like I literally I'm going on another fast here shortly, and I'm kind of prepped our house for me fasting so I don't have to be around food as much. I was literally like making the kids breakfast and making my whole family dinner. And I love Caitlin, but she's not the world's best cook. So I'm like having to make them dinner, or I had to go out and buy them food and sit there while they're eating like yummy, delicious junk food right in front of me. And I'm like just smelling it. Or like on the last day, dude, this was so messed up. On the last day, it was like my one family day that week. And Caitlin and the kids wanted to go to our favorite, just like pancake place. Mm-hmm. And I had to sit there while they just ate like these fat stack of pancakes. And my daughter she's little, she doesn't know, she keeps trying to feed it to me. And she's like, Daddy, you want to eat it? And I was like, no, baby, thank you so much. And I'm just dying inside. And they had the world's worst coffee there too. And it was like, yeah, it was just bad. So but at the end of it, I'll tell you this. So like we finished, and I got it had been a while since I had done something I feel like that has truly challenged myself to the level that challenged me. And I got the high from it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I texted you, I think like a couple days later, and I was like, I actually miss fasting. Yeah. And you looked at me, you're ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, you're weird, dude.
In my mind though, I was craving the difficult moment again. The moment of me realizing that where this might get a little voodoo-y for people, but realizing you're a spiritual being in a physical body and you have dominion over that physical body. So that was the willingness to push the physical, the mental and the spiritual, going, no, physical body, you're going to get in alignment with what we have going on, and you're just going to figure it out, was what I missed, and I loved it. And so, yeah, man, that was great. I had a good time, actually.
What was the hardest component for you?
I don't want to say it was like, I think the hardest component was the fact that I could quit at any moment and no one would blame me for it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you're being gracious, but just the way my mind works, you're like, dude, you weren't punking me. You were actually being serious. Like, bro, maybe you shouldn't do 72 hours because you didn't prep your body for this. And I was like, nah, screw you. Like, that's just where my mental state goes. I didn't want you to make fun of me. But then Caitlin too was like, hey, like, you could quit. Like, I don't really care. And just knowing I had an easy way out and not taking it made it that much more rewarding at the end. But in the meantime, it was like, I would hit like I hit the 24-hour mark, and I was like, I could probably quit right now, but no, I want to do 72. I hit the 48-hour mark because that was like close to when you were finished, and you were like, dude, you should just probably finish right about now, and I didn't, and then I hit you finishing, and I still had like a whole like half a day left. Yeah, like you finished Wednesday night, I didn't finish until Thursday at 5, and so I was like, oh man, no. I think that was the most challenging component. What about for you? What was the most challenging component?
Well, I think it's to speak to what you were just saying and to relate this to other things besides fasting. And the reason why we wanted to call it Do Hard Things is we'll talk about a lot of things. Like we went on a hunt, right? Like that was hard. We've never been bow hunting. We just barely started shooting bows and we went on a hunt. So like this idea and concept of doing hard things is more than just a fast or a hunt. It's the concept and the idea of constantly challenging ourselves to do something that makes us better, right? To do something that makes our mind sharper, our hearts more pure, our ability to listen to, actually hear versus listen to just hear yourself respond.
Yeah.
Like all of these different things of doing hard things is simply to just make ourselves better. So I wanted to speak to that first. So anyone listening, like you might hear the word fast and like, I don't care. It wasn't the fast. It was the concept of challenging yourself to something so difficult and like finishing and following through and really seeing it through. Right? Like you said, I respected that you didn't quit because I would have teased you, but I genuinely, for the first time, wasn't like trying to be like, oh, Jordan, actually do this. I was doing it because there are so many things that can happen when you fast, right? You're depleting your body for the first time. And for some people, like the first time ever. For you, the first time in a long time. And so if it's not just the fast, guys, just like remember that. It's about doing something hard. And
Well, I once heard that your mind doesn't really know the difference in doing hard things. Like it doesn't know the difference. Doing hard things makes you mentally tough. We know that, right? It's like working out. You build calluses on your hands. Your mind doesn't know the difference between that hard thing and another hard thing. So when you're building up that mental toughness and you're building up the mental callousness that you need to get through hard things in life, the next hard thing that comes your way, your body's prepared for it. Like it's not necessarily going to be a fast. It might be something else that's mentally difficult. Well, your body goes, I already went through something mentally difficult, so I already know how to cope and handle and be able to think in mental. Like it's like what you did in the Marine Corps, right? Like they trained you guys to be ready for combat, but at the same time, it's not like they were like you're not literally going out there and like shooting each other like physically, like legitimately, like to die, right? Yeah. Your mind is being mentally prepped so that when you're there, you're able to execute. And I think doing hard things is mentally preparing you so that when other things in your life come, you're mentally prepared to handle them, at least more equipped, right? Yeah. Maybe it won't be perfect, but it'll make you more equipped.
Yeah, you're just giving yourself more tools in your tool belt.
100%.
And so for me, the hardest part of the fast, again, since I was fasting for a spiritual / like specific component, I think the hardest part was the temptations of being around all these things. Because yes, I could quit. And again, no one would say anything. I did 24. I did 36. I did 48. I did 56. Like all these things, right? Like I think for me, I made a commitment between myself and God. And what good would I have been if I quit? Like it's so much deeper than a fast, right? If I would have quit when I was hungry or when I was tired or because we were going out or we had plans, if I would have quit based off of that commitment that I made between myself and God, who in my life is the most important thing, what good would I have been as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a leader, as a business owner, if I couldn't keep a commitment to God?
Let me ask you though, do you think God, let's say you did quit, do you think God would have looked at you any differently?
Absolutely not. Not at all. Not even a little bit.
So is that commitment between, like, do you think he would have shamed you for?
No, of course not.
So is that commitment between you and God, or is it kind of a commitment between you and yourself? And how do I word this?
I know what you're trying to ask me.
You know what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah. But my answer to that would be,
I'm just curious.
It's a great question because a lot of people don't understand like our faith, right?
Right.
It's a great question. And I'm going to relate it to something that everyone can relate to.
Okay.
The biggest commitment in your life outside of religion, I'm assuming,
right,
is your commitment to your wife.
Screw Caitlin.
But you know what I mean?
Saw that
the
coming.
vow to your wife
100%
is this ring that we wear
yes,
is a circle of just like endless, constant like just pursuit of never quitting. There's no end to this circle.
It's a circle. It has no corners.
It's no corner. It's yes. But my point in saying that is if you don't have faith, I'm going to relate it to this, is if you are married and you actually genuinely honor your spouse,
right.
and you fully believe in the vow that you made to that person, that is the most undeniable thing in your life when it comes to your commitment. Your level of testing yourself is that commitment to that person, right?
Yes.
For me, when I made that commitment to fast for a spiritual decision and a spiritual growth and a spiritual just, I guess, overall well-being,
Right.
then it wasn't just between me and myself. I know God's not going to look at me differently.
Right.
But if I committed to that one thing in my life that is the like most non-negotiable, my faith, and I broke it because I wanted a piece of pizza, or I wanted a cappuccino,
Right.
or it would be so much easier to do this. I'm injured right now. I just started a new workout program. Like, it'd be really easy for me to be like, I need the protein.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, God has designed our bodies to not eat for a long freaking time, as long as you have,
Right.
water.
Right.
So to answer that in a way that other people would be able to understand, I wouldn't just go out and quit on my wife because I know she's just going to forgive me,
Yeah.
or I know she's going to look at me like the same,
Right.
or because I know that her faith in me and the man that I am is going to not change the way she views me. Like, that's not fair.
So you're kind of saying, and you can kind of take this, I guess, into the context of being a good dude, being a good dad. I'm going to take this and kind of run with it, is that you're not necessarily, you're attaching something onto something else. So for you, in this context, being a good dude, being a good dad is not because if you're not a good dude, you're a good dad, your wife is not going to love you, or she's going to like condemn you for it, or all this different stuff. But you're doing it because of the love that she has for you, because of so like you're not breaking that fast because of the love that God has for you. Are you attaching it to?
No, it's more of it goes back to integrity. Who are you when someone's not looking?
Ooh,
That's what it is.
right.
It'd be very easy for me to be like, oh yeah, God's always going to forgive me. He's not going to judge me. He's not going to do all this.
Right.
But if I were to do that to you, a man in the flesh, and I go against what I said I'm going to do and commit, if I made a commitment to you and I blatantly just decided to not do it because of whatever reason, that is a lack of integrity. That is a choice that I made to just make a commitment to you and break it. Like,
That's good.
integrity, right?
So
Who are you when no one is looking?
So as doing hard things not only builds your mental fortitude, but it also builds integrity.
It does, and it builds your level of commitment. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, we live in a very wishy-washy society, right? There's a lot of people that say they'll do something. They'll do it for 1 day, 3 weeks, a year. But then, more than often than not, they're going to kind of back off, right? Your level of commitment, and as a man that's trying to be a good dude and a good dad, a good Christian, a good leader, a good business owner, just a good overall human being in this dark world, like, I'm going to do everything I can to build my own personal integrity, my own ability to follow through. I mean, don't miss this. It's not the fast. It was the component behind the fast. It was the level of integrity and commitment that I chose to do, not the fast.
I mean, you could have taken that and put it towards doing. I mean, it could have been doing a Murph, or running a marathon, or it has nothing to do with what you're doing.
Yeah,
It's about how you're doing it and why you're doing it.
100%. And that's why I was like, as we're sharing this, like, not everyone cares about a fast. They don't care about autophagy and healing and stuff like that. But it's more so like, as we continue to build what we're doing and interviewing the guests that we're doing, you got to lead from the front.
Yeah.
Always, right?
Beautiful. That was really good. I like that, man.
I didn't know Jordan was going to interview me today.
Well, you did that to me like pretty much twice now.
Oh my gosh, get out of here.
So-
But yeah, no, in all seriousness, like I'm stoked you did it with me. You did something hard. We're going to do them again together. But guys, again, I'm going to keep saying it. Like, it's not about the fast. Just please don't like let everything we just said be about a fast. Let it be about trying to like continue to develop us as people, continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to fail. I've said I was going to do fast in the past, and I failed in the sense of like I was like, I justified, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dude, I did 48. I could easily do 72, but I want to eat dinner with my wife, you know? And it's just like constantly trying to like better ourselves.
I also think it's easier to do hard things when you're doing them together.
Oh, for sure.
So it was fun having like a quote unquote battle buddy
Yeah.
during this whole process. So
We're going to do our next one together.
we're gonna do our next one together. If you guys want, I'm not saying like, again, this is not about the fast, but if you guys ever want to do a fast with us, shoot us a DM, drop a DM, or drop into our DMs. We'll answer you. We'd love to have you participate if you want to participate with us. There's no pressure, but I think
that'd be
I think
actually
it'd be kind of
super cool.
fun.
Like if we did like a quarterly one.
Do a quarterly thing. Do like we're talking about doing like an email list. Eventually, people get on the email list, and we'll do it
Yeah.
as like a.
I think the cool thing too is you don't have to be a person of faith to do a fast.
No.
It's just, again, it's not because of the religion. It's not because of the autophagy and the
Right.
healing. It's just about like that mental challenge.
Yeah.
Like that kick to the balls if you're a guy.
Developing that dog in you.
Exactly.
Oof.
But that was all we wanted to talk about today.
That was it. That's
and we're
fantastic.
excited
Though.
for a couple of the episodes we have coming out. We've had some fun guests lately, which is really cool.
We're excited to have some more. We're going to be on some podcasts pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. That'll be sweet. And then yeah, anything else?
No, my man.
All right, let's close it out. Let's go.